Welcome to Mended Men Conversations. My name is Titus Garnet.
And I'm Anthony Washington, here on Mended Men's Conversations. Thanks for joining us this Friday afternoon.
And we're here. The subject today is redefining manhood. What does it take to be a man in 2026? What is our role? What are people looking at? How do we take a look at where our role is in society today as society is going?
Welcome to Mended Men's Conversation, life lessons and legacies, where real men have real conversations. In every episode, we dive deep into the struggles, victories, and lessons that shape us as men. From mental health and fatherhood to faith, identity, and purpose, we are breaking the silence and starting the conversations that matter. Between us is over 12 years of professional experience and more than 140 years of combined life experience as fathers, sons, brothers, husbands, friends, and educators. We know that healing starts with an honest dialogue. So let's get real. Let's get ready. Let's grow together. This is Mended Men's Conversation.
Lately, we've been discussing the relationship to the social structure and what's going on and regarding our government, regarding a situation about our immigrants and
Minnesota.
and matter of fact, all over the country in a lot of different areas. Let's kind of start off. Anthony, what do you think about the role of men? Let's even say our relationship right now to Black men in the situation that's going on in the social structure today.
Okay, I would say, my opinion is that as a Black man, is that, we have to be aware of what's going on. And on top of that, we got to learn to work together. You got to have the mindset where that, you don't have to like what's going on, but you got to be above this insanity that's being spewed on a daily basis today. So it's a lot more that's being asked as a human being, because what's going on now, and I'm going to say it's not nothing new to us. We've been experiencing this on a daily basis. And I'm going to say for me, since childhood to present day, it's just that, I have to also think about, I know I don't like it, but this is not me. This is them trying to push their train of thinking on me to feel angry, which I am, frustrated, which I'm not, feel like you don't care, like all hope is lost. And I don't feel like all hope is lost. This is a real manipulation that the government is doing. But like I said before earlier, this is not nothing new. I have experienced this all my life. So I have to be 10 toes in to mentally just make sure that I stay above it and do my research and connect with people about what's going on and what they're doing so I can stay abreast and, not feel overwhelmed with this. I'm going to just call it bullshit that's going on today. It's been going on for the last 60 years as far as I'm concerned. It's nothing new. I just got to stay one step above it so I don't get caught up in this madness. And what we're doing today, we're having a conversation about how you can allow this to affect your life, your thinking, and how you move forward. Being frustrated with all this idiotic, stupid shit that's going on. And believe it, you mentioned Minnesota, and I'll say this. How can you have a police force that's gonna, even though they got some reform to do, but how can you have a police force to have accountability? They not walking around with masks on. People know who they are. Nobody can. And if they do something, they gotta have paperwork to justify why they're doing it. But now here you have, and it's just my words, now you have slave catchers out there with masks on and no accountability about what they do. And I don't care how you want to put it. You have a man that's been, he was interfering in what they was doing. They took him now. He had a gun on him, a legal gun. They took it from him and still killed him. So there's no justification for that. None. Now, even if they took the gun from him, if they was doing the right thing, pin him down, handcuff him, and he would still be alive today. But he's not. So you tell me What you think? I say, it's like legal rights to kill people.
Well, we've been heading toward this for a while. We can go back. We can go way back to the time of the civil rights area that a lot of people have not experienced or forgot what they experienced back then. A lot of times today, you've got a lot of young people don't understand what true prejudice is. They don't know the after effect of the Jim Crow area on today, which is still carries that after effect. One of the things when the civil rights era hit and they was sicking the police dogs, now this was the law enforcement. They had laws made to say that black folks could not be in certain parts of the neighborhoods or certain neighborhoods or certain cities or towns after dark,
7
7
men can
o'clock.
only be in a crowd at a time.
Right. All right. You and they had actual laws for that until eventually those laws had to be taken off the books. But the Supreme Court had to stand up for it. And when they sent troops in, the first time from my memory that troops were actually brought into the city, because troops could not be brought into the city, was back during 1963, 64, I think it was, to protect the kids who were going to high school, to an all-white
Right.
high school, the black kids who were going there. And I think this is when Eisenhower sent the troops in. It would have had to be back in the 50s if it was Eisenhower. Okay. And I think Kennedy did it in the colleges when they was trying to integrate the colleges in Mississippi. And he
Right.
had the policemen out there blocking him.
Lunch counters.
The lunch counters, but the colleges too.
Yeah.
Everett
When it was from the
trying to go
college.
to school. No, I'm talking about when he was going to college. They didn't send the troops in there for the lunch counters. What they did was the lunch counters protested and they wouldn't leave and got arrested. I'm talking about allowing the students to go into the school. Lester Maddox, who was the governor at the time in Mississippi, he would not let them in. As a matter of fact, he stood at the doorway to block them. And I think it was Kennedy's brother, the one who got killed later, he sent the troops down there to say, you got to get out of the way and let these people in. Well, in other words, that's the only time the troops were sent in was to protect people. Now you got this president sending troops in there to arrest people, to hurt people. But there's a lot of so-called areas we can discuss here, and I'm quite sure we're going to take this into more than just one session. One of the things we have to be careful of as black men is to set a standard. Now is not the time for us, and I believe this, for us to sit back and look at what's happening to Latino immigrants, African immigrants, immigrants from the islands or whatever, and say, okay, now it's your turn to see what we went through. No, it's not time for that. We should stand up for them. If anything, this is the initial unity that we need. We need to show them that the civil rights laws, act, protest, everything was for all people. It wasn't strictly just for black people, because a lot of people used it. The same way with DEI. DEI, they try to make you think that they're hiring minorities, but the biggest people who are taking the advantage of DEI are women. So when the government is trying to make you think that it's the black people taking white jobs, basically the majority of the people who take advantage of DEI are white women. All right. But they try to make you think it's something completely different. It doesn't matter. This is the time as a nation we need to stand up as one. White folks are seeing how when they step in the middle of this illegal authority, they can be shot down too. What I'm saying is they will be. And when you look at the situations that happen in Minneapolis, you don't see no black faces involved. The only black face I've seen involved was one of the ICE policemen who came to some people's houses, all right? But not in that the killing or anything like that. But this is a time for everybody to stand up and say, wait a minute, this is ridiculous. We got to stop this. Because if it happens there, and even though it's happening in the blue state, the people in the red state, you got to watch out because it's coming your way. And as a matter of fact, the most dangerous cities that has the most crime are in the red states. So eventually they're going to come more in your way without you realizing it's coming. All right. But see, something happened earlier today. And if this don't make you think, nothing will. If this don't make you act, nothing will. Did you hear what Trump sent out on his Twitter account? Posted on there a picture of the Obamas as apes. Can you believe that? Posted a picture on his Twitter with Michelle and Barack Obama as monkeys.
Apes. Okay. I thought you said apes. What
Apes,
you talking about?
monkeys, gorillas, whatever. Okay? Picture on his account. And eventually he kind of took it down, but the White House was saying it was a staffer that did it. What staffer has rights to his account? Somebody sent it, he reposted it, or he posted it himself. But the idea, it was on his account, and the White House are
He
trying
did
to
it
cover
himself.
it. Huh? Of
He
course
did
he
it
did.
himself.
Now, you've only had about, hold on. You only had about 4 or 5 Republicans say something against it. All right. Now, Tim Scott, the black senator in the Carolina, I think it's in South Carolina, he said, oh, this can't be real, and this is the most racist thing I've ever seen. Well, Negro, you had to speak up. What else could you do? You've been sucking Trump's ass since day one. Now, you got all that brown on your nose, and it ain't from your melatonin. All right. So now you got to stand up and say something, or else they're going to be all in your butt. So it makes it look like you give a damn, but that will not change your heart. You did that to save face. You didn't do that to change your heart. That had nothing to do
No,
with it. But go ahead, what you was going to say.
I didn't know about that, but this this is nothing new. To be honest, it's nothing new. Like I said earlier, it's that we have to be aware of it. We have to conversate, talk with each other about what's going on, about what we're going to do. How we're going to maintain, and basically, helping each other get through this process. I believe a lot of this stuff is being thrown our way because they want division, separation. Because you
Definitely.
can easily
Definitely.
because you can easily defeat somebody if you start to separate. But if you
Yeah.
stay together as a group, they make their plight a lot harder than what it really is.
This is an opportunity
But this
for
is
him.
nothing new about what he does.
No, it's not,
Nothing
but
new.
we cannot minimize it though.
Oh,
If
but
we,
no, I'm not minimizing
yeah,
it. But you know something?
not
I heard
you, I'm
something the
just
other day.
saying.
What we need to do. I remember back while a lot of people would say, what's the sense of voting? This is the only way you make a change. This is one of the ways you
This
make
is
a
one of
change.
the ways.
Yeah,
But
I
it
think that
also, your vote has legal ramifications. It
yeah,
can create, if you vote enough to make a change in the government, you can create laws from it, But
you
when I
can. And that's a start. That's a
That's a
start.
start. But we can't, and the reason I'm saying we can't minimize it is because, see, he keeps so much shit going on that he's trying to cover and hide. And I still think this was also another way to hide the Epstein files, since his name shows up 38,000 times in this new batch of stuff that went out. And they're pushing the names of those people who was redacted, who sent emails to Epstein, but their names were redacted. Trump is afraid not that his name is going to show he did anything. It's the idea that if some of these other people get caught, they may name him and drag him into that mess. They won't go out alone because they know how he is. He will not admit to nothing. He's not going to go down alone. He'll take the country with him if he has to. He'll blame.
No.
Now, also, it'll take your mind off of what he's trying to do with the midterms coming up, trying to cover the election. We have to, our politicians have to, them damn Democrats have to get on the stick and don't let, they're going to have to juggle these pies. The Democrats are going to have to juggle these pies and not drop a one. There's enough of them out there to do
I
it.
agree with you on that, but we got Republicans that don't want to say nothing against him, but the bottom line of it is they got to, because he is destroying this country every day. Every day he do something, he's destroying the country. I mean, some of the things, you got people, I mean, I don't particularly believe a lot of the things that they say about America when they say it's a rich country.
Of course it
And
is.
you can do a lot, you have a lot of freedom, but you have people that's in power now that's eroding that type of thinking. They want to take you back to 1800s, 1920s, things like that. And I think a lot of it is just fear, because there should never ever be another human being feel like they got enough of power over another human.
Well,
Now there's some laws that we have to live by. I understand that and respect that, but that don't give you the power over another human being. Don't.
yeah, but you know what? That's the nature of men. You can go look at a lot of other countries. You take Saudi Arabia, you take Russia, you take China, you take North Korea. You take in a lot of places where you take in Venezuela, take in a lot of places where the leadership has the power over the people. And common sense does not play a role in that. And because people think, oh, that's not right, that don't mean they're not going to do it. They're going to do it. You take this jerk Speaker of the House, and he's trying to quote the Bible to the Pope, and he misquoted it. All right. But then again, because he's a Christian, then a lot of the Christian leaders will say, well, yeah, I got to back him because he's a Christian and the Pope's just a Catholic. Okay. Then they start to separate it that way. It's going to take more than just being a nice guy for this guy. It's going to take being able, the people who can fight with fire, fight with fire. We've got politicians out there who could utilize the system, the court system, better than the average everyday person can. And that's their job. Don't sit back and get on the talking head show and talk about what's right or wrong. What the hell are you doing about it? What are you
Well, if you
doing?
notice,
Hold on. What are you doing to try to
nothing.
get people's
They
vote?
doing nothing.
Yeah. How are you getting the people's votes to put you in office?
Well, one of the things they say, they appeal to your nature about what they're going to do. But the bottom line of it is, what have you done lately? And if
Yeah.
you ain't done nothing lately, and you align yourself with this guy that's out there down there in DC now, you're not in there for the people. You're in there for yourself. You're in there for him, and his ego, you know, that's so easily bruised. I don't know. It's just look at you. You look at it, and it's a sad situation where you have a man that's in the position, one of the most powerful nations in the world, and you could say a comedian could say something about him, and he's offended.
Of course. He's a little
He
bitch.
want to sue the comedian because they say something about it. That shows you where this country is. The head of this country is right now in the state. Is that they're total dictators.
Yeah,
But
but
this is
see,
how a dictator acts.
even though he's a temperamental little child, and what we're talking about the role of men and masculinity, there are a lot of people out here seeing him as a very masculine man by the way he talks about people. When he gets on a
That's not
female with,
masculine.
no, hold on now, all right? The way he gets on these women, these reporters who get on his case, and he degrades them and talks back to them, there are people who voted for him because they say he don't take no shit. And they say he is so machismo. He's masculine. No, don't go by what you think. Go by what they say and what they do. And that's why a lot of these Latinos voted for him, because they say he shows masculinity by being a
Well, let
badass
me
and
ask you a
talking back
question.
to
Let
people.
me
Yeah.
ask you a question. Is that a sign of masculinity that you would want to follow?
You know what? Hell, man, you ought to know that answer is no. I ain't talking about
No,
me.
I don't know.
I'm
I want to
talking
hear it from
about,
you.
I told you hell no. What the fuck you want me to say?
Okay.
I'm talking about
Because you know something?
people who voted for him think that. They believe that,
Well, you
man.
know something?
What?
That's how they thought when he was running for election.
That's
And
what
you
I'm
know,
talking about.
because it's because they thought they was going to get something in their favor. You
Yeah,
know,
but
they was going to be
now,
leveled up to the white society. You
all
know,
right,
but the
but
reality of it is, wait, just hold on a second. The reality of it is that he bullshitted them like he's been bullshitting everything in his life. This is how he truly is. But see, you have people wanting to be white so bad, they didn't look at it for what he really was. They was looking at it for what they want, what they felt like they was going to get. And and I give him credit for being true to his kind, that, you know, he don't change, like they say, a tiger ain't going to change his stripes. He ain't changed his stripes. He was telling you what he was going to do from day one. And everything he said he's going to do, that's what he's doing. You know, but they assumed that they was going to get favor because they were going to vote for it. But now they see that, you know, that now they had a first-hand taste of what bullshit is all about. They got a slap back in their face. And I'm not knocking them. You know, sometimes you need that to wake up to some reality, you know. And the reality of it is, he don't care about you. And the bottom line of it is, you ain't white. You know something? I was on my way home and I heard these things about white Mexicans and,
yeah, right. They call
you
them
know,
white.
listen, you Mexican. You might have the straight hair, but you're gonna be always considered Mexican. You know, so there is no white Mexican. Because as far as white people concerned, you're gonna always be Mexican, and you always gonna be beneath them. Now, I'm not gonna say all, but the majority of them, that's what the ones that's in power now. That's the way they think, that, you know, that they are superior to any people of this earth. I don't want to say race because, you know, we all on the same plane. We all human beings. You know, and I don't think when we were made, one was made better than the next. No, we don't. We're not.
But you know
And that's just
what?
my opinion.
What you
What's that?
think, your opinion and what you think right now don't mean shit, a diddly squat, to the people who think they are white Mexican because they actually think they are. Now, where does that come from? The history of that comes from when Spain, most of the people in Mexico City are Spanish descendants, and they see
Right.
themselves,
Spain or
they
Portugal.
they see themselves as white. They see themselves as not the same as the real Mexicans, the native Mexicans who live outside of Mexico City in the more far-reaching areas of Mexico, the country itself. All right. But when these Latinos or these Mexicans who voted for Trump because he was machismo, they weren't going on common sense. They weren't going on what's right or wrong. Hold on. A lot of these are young
I didn't
men.
say that. I'm listening to you.
Nah, you got that look on your face and it scares me. The
Okay,
young man,
listen.
hold on.
Don't
Hold on.
assume. Don't assume. I'm allowed to have changed my expression. I didn't open my mouth. I didn't say. I didn't do this. So listen. Get your. Let it calm
Ease
down.
up now. Ease up.
Together. 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 We're gonna say wasa.
Fuck that woosah shit. I ain't woosah nothing. Fuck that. Okay? I'm
Listen.
podcasting. That's the fuck what I'm saying right now. All I'm saying is
Listen.
this, man.
I,
All I'm
I
saying is this.
I need you to count to 10. I need you to count to 10.
One fucking 10. Okay, we there? We done. All right. 1 plus 9,
Listen,
10.
if you can't control your temper, I'm going to suspend you for a while. Okay.
All right,
So,
Dad. Easy, Dad.
all right.
Back up. Back up.
Okay, son.
Now, a lot of these young guys are more emotion or more of the street than they are of what's going on in politics. They don't know anything about Trump. They don't know anything about the government, how it works. All they see is what they hear, maybe from adults or what they think. And they see Trump coming on TV talking like a badass, and they think, that's machismo. That's macho. That's tough. You got a lot of young people thinking that mentality. Now, why did a lot of black young men vote for him? It had nothing to do with what he was going to do for him because they know damn well that he ain't going to do nothing for them. Okay, what can he give him? He can't give him nothing. He can't give him jobs. He can't give him shit. But if he acts like a badass and they're like, he's a badass, okay?
Well,
So
you're talking about,
all
wait a
of
minute, you're talking about young blacks voted for him because what he was saying and how he presented himself?
yeah, yeah. What promises did he make them? Stop shaking your head, bruh. What promises did he make him? And I've heard it from
He
their
made,
mouth. What promises did he make?
listen,
I heard now hold on now. I heard black young men when I was at a friend's house and they kids were talking and they were saying, yeah, Trump, man, he a tough guy. He a badass, man. Yeah, I hear it. And I heard it from their mouth. You see, you at times think that people gonna have common sense about dealing with this man. You got people who
no,
got money. I'll tell you what, let me say this. In the morning, there's a show called Joe in the Morning. It comes on MSNBC, which is now MS Now. All right. This guy named Joe, he and his wife, and other guys, they have this show. Now, they living real nice money, this, that, whatever. And Joe will tell you, he will say, wait a minute, I've got friends, and he'll tell you straight to your face. And he admitted all the time, I got friends who are highly educated, highly financial, aware of history, this, that, or whatever, and they still vote for Trump. It ain't got nothing to do with intelligence, and sometimes it ain't got nothing to do with common sense. But these people
okay,
who
I never
can break,
said either
now
one of
hold
them.
on, hold on,
I
hold
didn't,
on.
I did not say either one of them.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there are people who voted for this man and really have no idea who he is, even though there's people who do know what he is and how he is, still vote for him. So what's the reasoning
And the
behind
people
that?
that know him, the people that you say that know him
Mm-hmm.
and still voting for him,
Mm-hmm.
why?
Because they can get something out of it financially, or they can get something out of it racially or socially. In other words, just because you white and rich and you got it made, that don't mean you're not a racist at heart. That does not mean that.
Listen, that's all I was saying. If any blacks voted for him, I ain't gonna say all, but ones that did vote for him and they were young, it's because they was under the impression that they was gonna make some money, or he was gonna make a way for them to make some money.
Okay,
That's it.
How? And tell me what he said to give them that thought process. What has he said to give them the process that he was for them? How many Negroes in the street that's under the age of even 30 know what the hell crypto is?
Don't underestimate a lot of young blacks. Don't.
How many gangbangers know
Because
what
they do
crypto
know,
is? How many of them got the
yes,
money
they
for
do.
crypto? No, they don't. Not that
Hey,
many.
listen,
I disagree with you, man. I really do.
okay, well, that's where we disagree at.
Well, but how?
You
Where
know,
they
I
getting
don't
the
want,
money from to
all I'm
get invest in
saying is that
crypto?
don't underestimate a lot of young blacks because they don't think like we used to think. You know, you have a lot of educated young blacks that's out there making a difference, being entrepreneurs, and they feel like, well, maybe I can make a little bit of money off of them like that. I mean, not saying that they like him or anything, but you know, the thing about it is, I just want to make me some money.
Okay, now you got to hold on. You got a point there. I know a young guy, a relative of mine. He works in the stock market in New York. All right, and he's a young, up and coming 20-something young man, and likes Trump because he can make some money. But how many guys in the
So all I'm
street
saying.
are in? Now, hold on. How many guys in the street are in that venue where they can be in the stock market, where they can be involved in the financial world? Now, you may have some of them, but do
Well,
you
you
think a
ask
lot
me a
of these
question, let
brothers
me
in the
answer it.
street?
You gonna let me answer
Well,
it?
let me finish asking. Let me finish asking it. How many of them brothers you know in the street are able to do that?
Okay, the ones that's in the street, they're the ones that we talked about that choose not to go vote because the way they live in the street, that's all that means anything to them. They're gonna stay right
Mm,
there in the street. You know, drugs, alcohol, hanging out. That's all they care about. They don't care about, you know, going voting. They don't care about who's in the election. That's not on their mind.
mm-hmm.
What means anything to them is getting high, chasing women, hanging out.
Okay, now let's take it to the next level. What about the brothers
Okay.
who got jobs working in the plant and working in the factory, working in the assembly line, working at
They catch
driving
a hair.
trucks? Huh? What?
Now the ones that's driving trucks, they might be a little bit better. I don't. If you're black, I don't care where what work you're doing. You always going to feel like something's on you, something's holding you back.
Okay,
You
now
might have a little bit of space.
the point I'm making is this. There was he had a big increase, all right, in young men who voted for him in the last election, Latino and Black. He had a nice increase. Who were these people? Who were they? Now to say
That
all
was
of them were
basically
financially, now hold on, to say all of them were financially conscious, I don't
no. I ain't
believe
say
that.
all of them.
I'm making a statement. To say that all of them were financially conscious, no, it's a mistake. To say that all of them looked at him and said, oh, he's a racist, this and that, but I'm going to vote for him anyway. What I'm saying is that who are these people and how did he get them? Now, what could he promise them to make them vote for him other than the way they saw him as masculine? And understand, not everybody has the same mentality you have on the destination. I'm sorry.
I just find it hard to see any trace of masculinity in a bully. Okay, so I don't care what you say. I don't see no masculinity in a bully.
All right, stop
None.
there. Stop there. Did you know a bully in high school?
Yeah.
Did you know, have you known bullies in my life? In your life, I mean.
Yes,
Did
I
you
know
know? Yeah,
bully
okay. Weren't there people that looked up to that bully?
because they was afraid.
Well, duh, but they looked up to him, did they not? How
Listen,
many
that's
girls?
a
Hold
difference.
on.
No, no,
You
no, no, no,
you
no, 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 no. You ask me a question. That's a difference. Looking up to a bully. Now, if there's a bully, they respected him only because they feared him, not
uh-huh.
respect. Now,
Yeah.
there's a difference between fear and respect.
Yeah.
They didn't respect him, but they feared him for what what he will do to them.
Now, how
So
many politicians don't respect Trump, but they support Trump?
shit, you can say the whole Republican.
All right, then. I rest my case. Common sense ain't got
That's
a
not
damn thing
respect.
to do with it.
That
It
that's
don't
that's not
respect
respect.
ain't got nothing to do with it. That's what I'm saying. Just because you don't respect nobody don't mean that you won't vote for them.
Just because you don't respect somebody doesn't mean that if you fear them, there's no respect there. I mean, being a bully is only going to last for so long because you're going to run into somebody that's just not going to feed into your bullshit and going to challenge you on every turn.
And how long
And
you
when you
got to
get
wait
your
for
ass
that?
kicked, hey, only God knows on that one. I can't answer.
Okay,
But
that's the
listen,
but look how
every
much
bully I
damage a
know,
bully can do.
that's right. That's right. That's life. Every, everything is not going to be peaches and cream. But every bully I know came to their senses one day because they realized they couldn't get away with doing that dumb shit to people on a daily basis. So
That's
every
true.
bully is going to have their day,
That's true.
and
Now,
he will have his day. I'm not the one to say when. I hope it's soon, but that's just my hope.
see, the only thing I'm saying is this. When his comeuppance will come, nobody knows. But look how much damage he's causing, and he's still got 3 years left. Hold on, and he's still got 3 years left on his term. And who knows what he's
I'm
planning for even then. But just because here's a guy, he's not respected, but still, as a bully, people are doing what he says. As a matter of fact, there are people doing stuff before he even said so they can get his approval. So they can say, look at me. Yeah, I'm his favorite. I'm his favorite. But now you tell me something. Anthony, right?
Titus
Okay,
Garnet.
it's down there. Oh, no, you ain't that great. You ain't the great Titus. Okay, so Anthony, you have a understanding of life through your experiences in that
Right. That's what we talk
there were,
about. Our own experience, right?
and I understand, but we have a tendency sometimes to try to understand something that is difficult to understand. There's an
Like
article I'm
what?
going to read on it. Hold on. There's an article or a book an article I'm going to read on. We'll maybe talk about it the next time around. I just ran across it last night. and you might want to look it up. It's talking about the laws of stupidity. And stupidity affects those and it has nothing to do with intelligence. It has nothing to do with common sense. It has nothing to do with right or wrong. But sometimes there are people who are just plain fucking stupid. And they could be brilliant and they can be dumb as a tack. And there's some, and the only reason I brought it up, so maybe next time or in the future, we can get into it a little more to try to understand why people do what they do. And you know as well as I do that common sense and intelligence has nothing in common all the time.
I will never disagree with you. Well, to my experience, what people think, feel, and believe about me really ain't my business. As long as I'm not stepping on nobody's toes, I don't really give a shit. Be honest with you. I'm gonna do me. And I expect them to do them. Now you have people that still have that same mentality, believing that you're not a true friend if you don't do what I ask. And I always had issues with. It's because if I ask of you or something, I can only expect two words. You tell me yes or you tell me no. Now, if how I think, feel, and believe about you change because you told me no, I wasn't asking you anything. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, I understand what you're saying, but that don't mean somebody else will.
But I can't think and feel for them.
And see, part of what you just said makes sense, but what you said also, somebody like Trump could say the same thing because they don't give a damn. And the way you made it sound, it's the same way as though you don't give a damn what other people think. Now, what you don't give a damn about. Hold on. Let me finish my second
If you want to
part.
say that, say, I don't give a damn about what people think about me, okay? It's not that I'm saying I don't give a damn about people. I do care about people, but what they think of me, it's not my business.
And that's exactly what
So
I
don't
said.
take what I said out of context.
No, I did not. I did not. What
Well,
I said was,
you didn't say
said
the whole thing, what I said.
because you didn't let me finish, my brother, my black brother. You said you don't give a damn. You said you don't give, because I want you to understand it, Mr. Dictionary.
What's that?
But you said you don't give a damn what people think about you, right?
Right.
And I said Trump thinks the same way. He don't give a damn what people think about him.
No, that's bullshit.
No, hold on. Hold on. All right? He know people don't like him. He know when he gets a temper tantrum, it's when people tell him what he don't want to hear. He wants everybody to follow up. He'll fuck you over in a heartbeat, okay? Now, just because his little feelings get mixed in there because he wants everybody to agree with him, but the people who don't agree with him, he's got people around him that'll do the business and he don't have to say a damn thing. They'll go out. You see when I told you about the pictures about the Obamas being apes, being monkeys, all right? His White House went out there and protected him, and he ain't said a word. He don't give a fuck what they feel about him when he said that, when he did what he did.
No, he don't care. No, he don't care about what he did. He don't care about how that might affect people or how that might make him look. But he is very sensitive, and he got thin skin when somebody says something about him. It does bother him. Now, there's a difference. I said, I don't care what people think and believe about me, well, especially if I'm not stepping on nobody's toes. He's not stepping on nobody's toes. He steps on people's toes all day long. And when people respond back to him, he gets offended. He wants to go after him. He wants to sue him. That's the difference there.
Because he's making money. That's a revenge theory. He wants to revenge. He wants to make money. Everything's a transaction.
I agree with you on that part.
It's a transaction. And if it's not a transaction, he don't care because see, here's the thing. He's going to keep doing it anyway. So does it really bother him or hold on.
Yes.
Does everything bother him? I say no. A lot of stuff don't because he keeps doing the same thing. He's got a plan that he's going to make work no matter what. He's got a plan. And he knows he's only got so much time to get it done. And the Republicans, when he came the first time around, they thought they could control him. And he fooled them that they couldn't control him. And that's why they're all in line now. But anyway, go ahead and ask a question. Yeah.
It does bother him when people says things about him, and most
Uh-huh.
especially when they say something about him, 9 times out of 10, the shit is true. And if you really look at anything he's done in his past, it really went to shit. That's his pattern. He don't know how to build something for humanity. So it's all about him.
Right.
This is a classic narcissistic individual. He don't care about nobody but
Nope.
himself.
Right.
And every last one of them people that's sucking up to him, when they piss him off, he'll kick them to the curb in a minute.
Yep.
That's his mentality. He has no respect for no one or anybody.
Right.
So like I said, his days are numbered. He's getting away with a lot of shit. Yes, he is. I will admit that he is getting away with a lot of shit now. And he has set up where he can do things. From his first term in office, he learned that in order for him to do the shit he had to do, he had to put people in place so when he did that dumb shit, they would support it. But that's short-lived. And that's just, I have no clue, but that's how I feel. That shit is short-lived. Because, he acts like he wants to be Putin or the guy in China. He wants to be in charge forever.
Okay. That's what he's heading toward. And that's what he wants. He wants to be with the big boys. We can psychologically look at this guy and go back to New York when he was never respected as a major real estate magnate in New York. He was really small time real estate compared to the big guys. He was never accepted in the rich society of New York, like the DuPonts and all those people. They didn't accept him. He wasn't a part of that. Okay. But
he never will be.
And he never will be. But now he doesn't care because he has more power than they do. That's why he makes Harvard try to pay him money. That's why he makes all these major corporations have to donate to him. It's the power, so they can rub shoulders. Now he's rubbing shoulders with people who's got more money than the DuPonts and then the Gettys and the so-called big shots of old money in New York. All right. He's rubbing with people who's got more money than that. And that's the technology people. And he's running them. They're falling in place. So they think they can get what they want from him, but they're paying for it. They're paying for it by genuflecting and mea culpa, mea maxi ma culpa to him. By the way, that's Latin for my days as a Catholic. But go ahead.
You need to practice a little bit more.
Nah, shit. I don't practice enough, but go ahead. If I was to tell you I was an altar boy, like you wouldn't believe me. Go ahead.
Like I said, I won't disagree with what you just said because he does have a lot of those a lot of rich people, the people with a lot of money and influence backing and supporting him. But trust me, they're not stupid and they know what type of person they're dealing with. They have their reasons for being there. They're definitely putting themselves in a position that they can have some power and control. Hopefully, this thing that we call Constitution will stand up for what it means. They tearing that down. They're making it look like it don't exist. What they're doing is they're making it look like if you have a lot of money, you can do whatever you want to do.
Okay,
that was one of the reasons why the United States was, they said, even though with the prejudices and the way the system was set up, it was set up for white men. But that was one of the reasons why they were so wealthy, because it wasn't no dictatorship. Now you have somebody that's in office open up the doors so the people with money and can come in. He promised them to come in. He promised them something, so they can get something. And they're not just coming in for a short period of time. They're coming in so they can gain control over things that they want.
Well, what power have they achieved? What have they achieved from kissing Trump's ass right now? What have they achieved?
What they have achieved is they got a way to get in to gain more control, to do what they want to build their own wealth. What Trump did is he took away a lot of regulations where they couldn't do that. Now there's no accountability. I mean, the oversight committee basically ain't shit. And that's what kept a lot of those rich people at bay. They still had some in your lobbyists, they still had some politicians in their back pocket. True. But the door is open wide now because you
But
have no
what at
regulation.
okay, and they're paying for it, are they not? Doesn't it cost
Oh
them a
yeah.
pretty penny? It
So
costs
what?
them a pretty
Who
penny.
cares
Now,
about they have money to pay for that.
yeah,
They're
they do.
they're paying for a position so they can continue to do what they want to do. So if you ain't got money to pay for something, you can't get the position that you want. But if you have money to pay for something, you can get the things that you want. You can do the things that you want. You can continue to build your wealth without the government over your head regulating everything.
Okay. The rich is
Think
getting
about that.
richer. I ain't got to think about it.
Right.
I know it. The rich is getting richer,
Okay.
right? Okay. Now,
That's true.
when are they going to hit that wall?
I
They're
don't know.
eventually
I
going to
hope
hit
it's
that
soon.
wall. Okay. But the thing of it is, if Trump knows now that if he's so tender hearted, which he is at times, if he's so tender hearted and hate when people talk about him, this, that, or whatever, if it really means that much to him, why does he keep doing it?
What's the definition of insanity?
Yeah, but he's getting his way out of it. But see, the thing of it is, in
Now, yes,
insanity,
he
and
is.
no, hold on. Yeah, he is, because insanity, you getting the same result. He ain't getting the same result. He's getting a different result from everybody. He's getting what he wants. He's getting the results he wants. So
He's
that
getting
means
some of the results he wants, yes. But
he's getting
listen,
a lot of the results he wants.
I go back to what we talked about earlier. Bullies only last for a certain amount of time. Okay?
And so do the good guys.
Okay.
All right.
True that.
But as a bully, a good guy is not going to create as much problems and danger as a bully will. Now,
That's true.
all right. Now, at what cost? Being a bully, yeah, but there are still people who will look up to the bully and say, wow, what a guy, what a man. And women will look up to that and say, wow, he's got money. And there are young people who will look up and say, wow, at least he's getting what he wants. At least he's achieving, he's getting his way. Look what he did. He shut the border down. At what cost? It cost the farmers. It cost the hotel people working.
Because
He's
everybody that lives in the
he's
United States
costing,
have to
but
pay for the shit that he do.
but you know what? So fucking what if he's still getting what he wants? Ain't nobody stopping it.
Not
Who's
now,
stopping it?
but not yet. Not yet.
Oh,
Not yet.
the farmers, hold on. The farmers are complaining. Has he given them anything yet? Not a damn thing. He's talking about, I'm going to give them $12 billion. $12 billion wouldn't help the farms in one state. And do you hear anything else
Yes.
from the farmers? No. And they complain. I've seen a farmer on TV said, well, he better do something because I can't wait. We've been through this once before, but I'll still vote for him because I know eventually he'll come around. That's what I'm talking about. No, that's what I'm talking
listen,
about.
What you're saying is that you're going to have people out there that will vote for him, regardless of whatever financial, emotional, physical predicament he puts them in. I'm not going to argue with you and say they're not. It is what it is. That's true. All I'm saying is that, you have a lot of people out there with good common sense, and you get your ass whooped a couple of times, you will wake up. You'll smell the coffee. You realize that, I
Well,
can't keep doing this shit.
well, you ain't gonna have good common sense until you wake up. And how long are you gonna stay asleep?
That's true. True. I agree with you on that one too.
You know,
Sometimes you gotta get your head whopped a couple of times before you see the light.
if you survive it. Now, some people say experience is the best teacher, but you got to survive the experience in order and learn something from it. Some people don't survive the experience. They
You
don't
seem to
learn
make it.
shit. Huh?
You seem to make it.
I make it because I'm a crazy motherfucker. And god damn it, I got the lumps on my head to prove it. Okay? Every now and then I get constipated and it's another shoe I got to pull out of my ass. And so that's what it is.
But you're learning.
But I'm
So
learning.
that goes to show you can still learn at whatever age you are.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And people will say, "You just a feisty, mean old man." You know what? Yeah. And because I'm still fighting. I'm still fighting. But once I give in and give up, it's a done deal. And there's a lot of people who were young who have given in and given up. And there are a lot of smart people who have given in. I'm not saying they gave up, but they gave in, you know?
Okay. Yeah, that's basically our conversation is about today. All of this madness that he's doing and he's spraying, you can't give up. You cannot give
No.
up. This is being done for that particular reason, for you to give up and just say,
Yeah.
fuck it,
Yeah.
and you can't.
Right.
I know I
It's
ain't giving up.
No, and I'm quite sure there's a lot of the Democratic hierarchy have not given up and they talking, but they just don't seem to have any emotion, and the emotion is sort of muted. It's like this. You know the way I argue, yell, and fuss and get all crazy, right? Because I'm a
Hmm.
man's man, right? I'm a man, because that's how it is. But suppose I get mad like this. You know, Anthony, I'm really pissed off. And I think the law says it shouldn't be this way. So I think that's how we should be. Boy, I'm so angry. That gun I could almost spit, you know? Now, does that show me like I give a damn about anything? No. And the problem is
Well, it
the
all depends
reason,
on the person.
stop giving me that bullshit. That's the problem with the Democrats. That's the bullshit.
Listen,
That's
you
bullshit.
can
Because the problem with the
me and
Democrats,
you. No, 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 no. I'm not going to argue with you on that because I
uh-huh.
agree with you on that. But me and you can say the same thing, but we can say it different ways with the
Oh, I
same
understand
meaning.
that. I understand that.
Okay.
But the idea, what I'm talking about, our so-called Democratic politician leadership, people keep hearing a different thing the same way. So it always sounds
Well,
like the same,
so what you're
you know.
saying is that, we hear a lot of that, but no
Right,
action.
right.
Okay.
And we don't even
Then that's
hear,
important.
and their voice is it's just
It's
sometimes,
mute.
yeah, it's mute. So you don't hear nothing from the heart. That's what it sounds like. It may be from their heart, but god damn it, take off their coat so we can hear it beat. All right. Shit, we don't hear
Feel
your
the beat.
heartbeat. Yeah, give us something get the people
Chew on.
excited and to chew on. You see, Trump, he made people angry. He made people chew on. They thought they was chewing on a candy bar or beef jerky. They was chewing on
I mean,
beef shit.
yeah,
You know,
a
they was
straw shit.
chewing on. That's right. They were chewing on a lie. You
Yeah,
know, but the thing of it
because he,
is,
he he lies
they had
on a daily
emotion.
basis.
And I don't even really think his real name is Trump if we was to go through the record book. But he lies and he says it now because he believes it. He believes that lie. But what
Yeah,
makes
he
it
does.
terrible, the people who back that lie up know it's a lie. But now they starting to believe it because they don't know no better. That's stupid. And these ain't dumb people, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a good back and forth today. I like fussing with you because I like winning. Anyway, we're going to have. Caught you off guard, didn't I? Caught you off guard. That was way there.
Listen, I would expect you to say that, even though you
Mhm.
know you got your ass whooped.
Deal with that. All right, that's enough for Mended Men Conversations today, and we're going to pick up some more on this next week. This is a difficult subject because everybody has a difficult mindset on what they think masculinity is or what masculinity should be or whatever. But what we're having is just a conversation about it. This is not a therapy session. We're not saying you should seek therapy, even though if we run across somebody that needs it, like Anthony will say, Anthony, you need therapy. Okay. And so he will agree with that. You see, he didn't say no, so he must agree with it. But thank you for joining us
Now,
this
what I was
week.
doing, I know we getting ready to go off air, but I had pulled up, a little news story about Trump deletes racist video of the bombers after outcry. And,
Yeah.
this is what it's who he is. This is actions of a bully and a coward.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody with some, like they say, cheese mo. You know,
Mhm.
they ain't not gonna do coward shit like that.
Mhm.
You know, if they don't like you, they ain't gonna fuck with you. And then let you know, I don't mess with you. I don't care for you. So I just leave you the hell alone. You know, you don't come over here, I don't go over there. We be fine. Let's leave it like that. But see, he do coward shit.
Of course. Of
He ain't
course.
messing.
Because
He think
no,
he think he can mess with their mentality. He got a long way to go to get up to where they are mentally.
right.
And that's one of the things that eat at his soul on a daily basis. He can never be the man Obama did. Obama is.
Right, because he is insecure about Obama. He does not have Obama's
He's insecure
intelligence.
about
He does
himself.
not have his wit. He doesn't have his wife because Obama, every one of his wives were his mistress in a previous marriage. Okay. So he doesn't have all that. So what's he do? He goes
No, he
about
don't.
to insult him. He has to be insulting. He has to be, like you said, a coward, and that
A
makes
bully.
him a punk. That makes him a punk. Yeah, he's a punk. You
That's
see,
what it does.
the only way he can mess with the people that do the comedians at night is to try to go through the FTC to get rid of them. But you see, he don't fuck with Newsom out in California.
No,
He don't fuck with
no.
him no more because Newsom will troll the shit out of him.
Other than I say, now I have seen congressmen, some black congressmen, and some white. I got to say, put my girl name out there, Jasmine Crockett, stand
I
up to him.
understand. Yeah, yeah, but I'm
You
not
know,
talking.
there are some people
They're
that will stand up, and most of them are Democrat. I haven't
yeah.
seen no Republicans stand up to him
Oh, they
and call
won't.
him for what he really is. And I get it. I want to support my party, but my party doing some asshole shit. Listen. I can't ride with you.
All I'm
That's
saying
not
is
who I am.
this: the leadership of the Democratic leadership in the Senate and the House of Representatives is not getting any respect out of the average day-to-day Democrat people. They're not getting
Because they look
that.
like they have no balls.
Yeah, they look, even though they may be mad and angry and we're going to do this and that, when they come out and they get to talking, everybody goes, it's a
But
yawn.
I gotta say this. The majority. But there are some Democrats that have some balls.
I'm
And
not talking, I know that they are. They are, and I
I just wanted
understand
to put
that.
that out there. I know you didn't say that,
No,
but I
no,
just
I
want
didn't
to
want
put
to
it
talk
out
about,
there.
but they're not considered the leadership. AOC,
No.
what's her name? Down in Texas, you just mentioned her name. There's a lot
Crockett.
of them that Crockett. They are balls deep, okay, and kicking ass.
Yeah.
But I'm
And there's
talking about
there's a
there's
lot of
some
them black
smaller
sisters down
ones.
the
Yeah,
South
I know.
that,
But
don't take no mess.
when people talk about the leadership, they talking about the leadership. That guy McDonnie, whatever, New York mayor. Okay, well, we don't know if we should support him because he's a socialist. What the hell is the U.S. government? It's a socialist society because the government pays
Capitalist.
for your this and that and whatever. Okay, so anyway,
That's
we'll get into that. We'll get into
Yeah,
that.
okay. All right.
We'll get
We'll
into
get in
that.
that next week.
Next week we'll continue this, and come on out with fire breathing, my brother. Come on out and let's get it on. All right, because the only person I got to fight now is
It's
you.
enough with your fire breathing. We don't need two of them.
Well, yeah, I guess so, but
I
what
got
the
to bring
hell?
some water so I can cool you off every once in a while.
Screw that.
When you get so heated, like
Screw that.
no stopping this dude.
All right. Well, anyway, thank you, Ant. I appreciate you today. This is Mended Men Conversations. My name is Titus Garnet.
And I'm Anthony Washington. Mended Men's Conversation. Like you said, this is not a therapy session. This is just a conversation. Talking from experience. Want to join in? Do that.
And we'll see you guys next time.
All right.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Mended Men's Conversation. If something we shared resonates with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode with someone who needs it. Remember, healing is a journey, and you don't have to walk it alone. Stay connected with us, subscribe to the podcast, and join the conversation online. Until next time, keep growing, keep healing, and keep building your legacy.